So today I have a riddle for you guys. I'm number 82. I'm the one to take down Rome. I'm easy to find. I'm poisonous. What am I?
Lead.
Right, lead. It's a great guess. Today I'm here to do a project for my communication class where I'm supposed to talk to you guys about any social justice issue that's happening currently here in America. So one of the things I'll be talking today is about, I'll be doing a one-man skit on the Flint, Michigan water crisis and how people have been affected by doing three different perspectives. One on the council, the parents, the families, and one on one of the lead science people to find that there was lead in the water. So first off, I'm going to start by saying that, giving you some background information. Flint, 2014, was looking to change, there was these decisions to change the pipelines, to switch from the Detroit base to another pipeline in order to give access to people in Flint for water. It would be much more cheaper than actually paying a contract to get water from the Detroit based city. But now I'll give you a look into how it might have been how it might have happened if you were there in Flint. Well, it looks like our contract with Detroit is about to end in about a year, guys. Our budgets are super lower than before. Does anybody have any ideas as to what we can really do in order to save money and get these people access to water? Alright, so it looks like the best decision is to go along with that, and we'll switch to the water on April 25th. Alright, we'll reconvene at the water plant, and we'll have a big old ceremony for the whole city. It'll be a big thing that we can accomplish here in the city. Now, what they didn't realize was during that time period, a corrosive inhibitor, which is vital to the pipelines, so like none of the metal ions will deteriorate, or any of the pipes will deteriorate into their ionic form. But what they didn't realize next was how bad Flint would be impacted. So many families were affected in Flint by the water crisis, and one of the stories I looked up was dealing with one mother and how she realized that the city was basically poisoning her kid. So right now I'm going to be going into the role of Leanne Walters, who give you a description of how she dealt with the poisoning. I remember my son Gavin. He was just swimming back and forth in this pool. It was a hot summer day. I realized when he got out of the pool that when he came out there was these red blotches on his skin. I was concerned at first. I took him to the doctor immediately and they scratched it off as oh, it's just dermatitis. And at one point another doctor told me that it was scabies. I had a feeling something was wrong, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. So the next couple of days the families from around my neighborhood, I had a block party at my house. The kids were having fun in the pool. And some of the other parents and I started to notice that their kids were starting to have those red rashes on them for being in the pool for a while. And I knew something was wrong. Later that night, my daughter was taking a shower. I hear this yelling from downstairs. And I'm like, I go in to check on her. And she's like, Mom, my hair's just coming out. And I look at her and there's these large clumps of hair that she's holding, saying that they fell out of her hair. I had a feeling something was wrong. So in the next couple of days, I asked some of the local water companies to see if they could test my water if anything was wrong with it. They found out that the water had lead in it. They told me that about 104 parts per billion of lead was found in it. I was just shocked. The city of Flint had been telling us that our water was safe to drink, because earlier that summer we were dealing with an E. coli outbreak in our water, and they were telling us to just flush out our water for 30 minutes and it would be usable. But all along the officials were just telling us the water's fine, just flush it out. But what they didn't realize was that they were slowly poisoning our kids. Over the next couple of months I didn't really know what to do, so I contacted some other officials such as Mark Edwards at Virginia Tech, who came over to Flint and tested our water and found that yes, our water was poisoned as well as other houses. Now, what happened in Flint was It's terrible. There was some other research done around what had happened, especially testing around kids' blood levels, because Mark Edwards, the Virginia Tech engineer, had found that the elevated lead water levels were higher than usual. So she went around Flint to test around the blood levels of kids. Now, right now, I'm going to go into sort of a skit on how it might have all happened when she was in. So my crew and I tested the blood levels of kids all around Flint. We had looked at Mark Edwards' research and found that yes, some of the houses had elevated water lead levels of around 100 parts per billion, averaging around there. But before we get into what we found in the research was that some of the laws that were being broken by the Flint officials. So we had that there were high levels of chloride within the water when the E. coli outbreak started, which then led to a violation of the Safe Water Drinking Act, as well as the lead found in the water. We found that that was also a violation of the lead and copper rule, which is where you have to keep the water lead levels at under around 10 parts per billion. Because of the effects of lead, they're pretty gruesome to deal with. They can affect the school, especially in children who can absorb lead 50% more than adults can, and it could lead to neurological damage, other disabilities that we don't center around school and intellect, and it can also stay in generations of families for about three generations. So into the research that we found that some of the kids around Flint, especially where there were high levels of lead, that they were having lead in their blood. Some of them had about 5 parts per billion, and generally we don't want any lead in a kid's body, because any small amount can lead to drastic effects in school. So that was some of the research done by Mona Tisha, who was one of the pediatricians working in Flint, to try to help determine what was leading to all this, and that they found that about 10 to 80% of lead's pipes, the pipes in Flint contained lead, and without the inhibitor put in the beginning when they switched water sources, that could have saved lives, especially kids wouldn't have to be dealing with lead poisoning. And the inhibitor really costs about $80 a day for the whole county, which isn't much. And now all the damage that they've done could be irreversible and cost millions. So today I talked to you guys about what happened in Flint, sort of give you a skit on each perspective on how it might have happened and how it did happen. Generally, I wanted to tell you guys more in detail on how people in Flint were dealing with it and the effects that's thereafter. And recently Obama came in to Flint to reassure the people that their water, if they use the filter, was clean enough to drink and use. And he also did an on-stage demonstration, actually drinking some of the Flint water that someone had just recently filtered, to reassure the people that that the water is fine after filtering it. And this crisis has been happening for 2 years, and it could have all been avoided, honestly. But due to politicians and their sort of wanting them to cut back on costs for the whole city, it led to this dramatic crisis. Thank you.